Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello, it's good to see you all. Let me introduce myself. I am Nanda Firdausy. I want to talk about rainbow formation. In this, I have 7 points that I want to explain about. First, light from sun strikes raindrop. Second, some of the light is reflected. Third, the rest of the light is reflected. Fourth, white light splits into component color. Fifth, light is reflected at rail of raindrops. And sixth, light is reflected again as it leaves raindrops. Seventh, color are further dispersed. Now let's start from the first. White light from the sun has to hit the raindrops at a certain angle before a rainbow is possible. It is best if the sun is fairly low in the sky, such as dawn and late afternoon. The angle is important as it affects the direction the light travels after it hits the raindrops, and that determines whether or not we will see a rainbow. That's all I have to say about light from sun strikes raindrop. Let's start now to some of the light is reflected. It is possible to see through a glass window but at the same time see your own reflection. This is because the window both transmits and reflects light. Water can do this too. That is why you can a reflection in a pool of clean water and also see the bottom. When light from the sun hit a water droplet, some of the light is reflected. This light will obey the law of reflection. Okay, so much for some of the light is reflected. Now, turning to the rest of the light is reflected. The light that is not reflected crosses the air-water interface boundary layer. When this happens, it slows down because the weather is more dense than the air. The reduction of speed causes the path of the light to bend. This is called reflection. In this case, the path of the light rays bend toward the normal line. Okay, so much for rest of the light is reflected. Now, turning to white light splits into component color. White light is made up of a spectrum of color, each with its own wavelengths. Different wavelengths travel at different speeds, and when they encounter a change to medium that is more dense or less dense, the speeds are affected by different amount. Hence, the color separate this phenomenon is known as dispersion. Okay, so much for white light splits into component color. Now, turning to light is reflected at rail of raindrops. At the rail of the raindrop, the light hits the water-to-air interface. If the angle of incidence is greater than the critical angle, total internal reflection will occur. A rainbow will only be seen if that happens, otherwise the light will continue out the other side of the raindrop and continue to move away from the would-be viewers. Okay, so much for light is reflected at rail of raindrop. Now, turning to light is reflected again as it leaves raindrop. Just as the light changes speed as it entered, speed as it raindrops, its speed changes again as it leaves. Here, the light is moving from a more dense medium, water, to a less dense medium, air. As it does so, it speeds up and its path bends. In this case, the path of the light rays bend away from the normal line. This is another example of refraction. Okay, so much for light is reflected again as it leaves raindrop. Now, turning to color are further dispersed. As the rays are reflected once again, the various wavelengths are affected to different extents. The overall result of this is increased separation of the component color of white light. This is dispersion. Okay, so much from color are further dispersed. In conclusion, rainbow formation involves physical phenomenon which includes diffraction, reflection, refraction, and internal reflection. For this to take place, there must be interaction of sun, water, and air. This occurs when the rays from the sun comes into contact with the raindrop but at a certain angle. So, thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and see you.